Alright folks, and welcome back to the channel as we look ahead to tomorrow night's game as Celtic face Roma in the Europa League. We'll also be discussing the completely strange criticism that Wilfred Nancy has come under from the media in certain sections of the support. I'm joined by Alistair and I'm joined by Liam. Liam, how are you doing?
I'm very well, mate. How are you?
Aye, good. Alistair, how's things?
Aye, good mate, good. Um, just I've just got here Sunday, so on to the next game and see if we can get off it.
Aye. Right, before we start, and honestly, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant here, right, before we bring everything else in, because honestly, the criticism that I've seen of Wilfred Nancy this week after Sunday has been nothing short of fucking embarrassing. I mean, I don't want to start pure ranting and raving, but honestly, I've never ever seen a manager with such sort of weird criticisms from a tactics board, which is a complete non-story. End of these, a manager he's supposed to sort tactics out, and now that we've got people in the press slating his shoes. I don't really get it. What I would say to people who are criticising Wilfred Nancy over nothing, he's literally a week into the job, no even that. And at the end of the day, he's got to be a manager. So if you don't like it, then that's fine. You've got to just stick with it because he's your manager and you need to get behind him. Because, Alistair, I mean, the criticism he's received for not just the media, but some of our own support has been nothing short of absolutely embarrassing.
It's actually been borderline personal. I mean, you find with a lot of our support, see if a lot of fans don't like a manager, they're like a dog with a bone. It's just would rather be proved right than I'm right, see tell his side, rather than give the guy a chance. Now, we said as a podcast that it was never going to be a quick fix, and we were going to have to show a bit of patience with the manager. But I wish I could say I was surprised, but I wasn't.
Aye, Liam, it's just, I mean, it's generally, after Sunday, I was a bit, especially coming out the game, I was really annoyed, frustrated, whatever, but I looked at it and went, hey, and I was like, right, he's been in the job 2 days, there's not much he can do, and you've got people saying that, if he doesn't, he's got 2 games to save his job and all that shit, like, I can't get my head around it, I really can't.
Mate, as Alistair said, it's not even surprising though. And just to get back to the tactic board thing, it's a visual aid, it's a visual tool for people to get their message across. By the way, see any changing room that you go in, no matter if it's Scotland, around the world, believe it or not, right, there'll be a big fucking tactic board there. Right? Doesn't matter if there's blue markers on it or red markers, right? Maybe you should get green markers and everybody will play off his back, right? But it was an absolute joke, mate. And see Sky Sports, see the way they kind of zoomed in on him. They knew exactly, they knew exactly who was watching it, and they knew exactly if he was getting beat, that's going to be a talking point. They knew exactly what they were doing. And see something to do with his green trainers, mate. As Alistair said, that's just getting personal, by the way. What has that got to do with the price of cheese, mate? It's absolutely wild. You know what it reminds me a wee bit? Recently with Russell Martin there, remember it was his diet, it was a vegan and all that. I mean, what has that got to do with his ability to coach? Now, I'm not saying Russell Martin was a good coach, but it got personal too quick, and I hope this doesn't get personal too quick, because as we said in a previous pod, we need to give this guy time, and he deserves time, by the way.
I know he does. And,
sorry, Josh, I said minimum he needs 2 windows, and that doesn't mean to say I don't want us to win games, because he gets a free pass if we don't win games. Of course, there'll become a time where criticism's fair, but come on, one game.
It's ridiculous, man. And He might. That's the thing, of opinion and decision, and he might turn out that he's not a great manager, but he also might turn out to be a brilliant manager for us. But I'm sorry, right, and I don't want to spend too much on the tactics and balls and trainers because, frankly, it's a big load of absolute.
Juvenile, that's what it is.
It's ridiculous. I judge a manager on his football and coaching ability, not what trainers he wears, not if he wears fucking Adidas Sambas or fucking Air Max or TNs, whatever. I don't know. I don't judge managers on that.
It's beyond a joke. It really is.
It's on his football ability. No, and at the same time, see the people who are questioning, and don't get me wrong, I've got questions about Wilfred Nancy. There's a difference between having questions and just being straight up, nah, don't want him. Not being open to trying a bit of change, and that's the problem. We Celtic fans continuously batter on about how we want this modern day Celtic. Then we try and bring in somebody with a bit more modern thinking of it. Or no, I don't want him. Bring back a 73-year-old Martin O'Neill.
I don't know if it's just a Scottish thing, right? But I don't think we embrace change very well. And I'm not saying change is always the answer. But as you said, they were battering on about change, right? And then as soon as we get change and we see something like a guy using a mini tactic board, people lose their minds. I mean, it actually defies logic to me. It really, really does.
And do you know, Alistair, do you know why people lose their mind over the tactics board? Because we don't usually see it. That's normally what we put on the laptop.
In the dressing room,
even on the touchline, you've normally got an iPad or a laptop.
Oh, aye, Gavin Stratton's laptop, guaranteed there'll be a wee tactic board on that. Do you know what I mean?
And you know for a fact you're going to see it tomorrow night at some point.
We're going to keep seeing it until Celtic go on a run of victories. Realistically, you're going to see it on Thursday and you're going to see it on Sunday during the League Cup final if he pulls it out. And I don't care. I generally could not give a toss. And, I look at it and go like that. You're banging on about changing, you're banging on about things. See, if you're angry at people, divert your anger at the people who you should be angry at. And that is the board and that is the players who put them in that situation. I'm sorry to say this, right? I'm not going to pull out players, but I'm not going to slate the manager when we've got the same people sitting there saying, oh, I think Yang's been pretty decent. Oh, I think, X, Y, and Z are, players, when we've got one of the worst front lines I think I've ever seen in since I've been supporting Celtic. It's been the worst. We've not got a front line. It's just, I'm sorry, but I'm not criticising the manager when that's what he's got to deal with.
I was having a conversation the other day. Cheers, mate. I was having a conversation the other day with my cousin. We were talking about the COVID season and we're talking about the team. And I actually think that team was stronger than this team.
This team's worse.
This team is way worse.
I heard somebody say that this is Tony Mowbray's team was worse. I beg to differ. Because Tony Mowbray's team, well, they weren't great. They could score goals. This team can't score goals. But it shouldn't be a surprise to us because we've lost 100 goals and we've not replaced them. That is why we're struggling.
Ida, Kyogo, Kuhn. I know. The list could go on, mate.
But no, I'm sorry. I know I didn't want to start pure ranting, but I had to get off my chest because I'm just sick of the shite that I've had to read in the last few days after the Hearts game. It was disappointing, man, but can you calm down? Like, seriously, just calm it. It's like, guys, just in the door.
Do you know what I don't get? Why not just use the energy that everybody's, using negatively and try and back the manager? I mean, how hard would that be? I think that's an easier thing to do, and it just makes more sense to get behind the guy.
Do you know what the funny thing is, right? See when all the Celtic fans collective stuff comes out, all the marches and the protests and everything else, there's the brigade that's sitting saying, oh, you're harming the team, back your team. Well, I'm sorry, but kind of hypocrite yourself there, because we've got a manager which people are refusing to not everybody, most people I've seen will get mine, but there's a certain few who are just, and you're entitled to your opinion, of course, but I don't agree with it.
By the way, it's that minority that are just waiting for him to fail at any opportunity to say "I told you so," which is again quite concerning. I just don't understand that way of thinking and that kind of behaviour.
And as I said, everybody's got their opinions, and you know, it might not work out, but it might also work out. That's how it goes, really. You know,
Yep.
one is going to be right, but you know, I just think having that opinion of a manager after one game is it's ludicrous.
Especially when he's only had one training session, Josh.
It's mental. It's absolutely mental, and the amount of times when I've had conversations with Alistair or whatever, or I've had other people, and the amount of times I've had to remind myself he's been in the job 3 days, or 4 days, or 5 days.
Josh, I was listening to Super Scoreboard last night. It was either last night or the night before, and this guy from Greenock called in and said that.
I remember him.
If it was just him, that when he was watching the video of Nancy going around the training ground and meeting James Forrest and that sort of thing, he felt as if everybody was being disrespectful or whatever towards him. He thought it was maybe just him and he wanted clarification for other people, and I just thought, what a lot of shit, man. I know, honestly, that's what he was saying, mate, that James Forrest kind of dismissed him.
Is that the guy that kind of talks in a kind of squeaky voice?
Aye, mate.
He always moans all the time.
I took a wee bit of helium, I think, and then just started
I know the guy.
Shite, honest to God. Where's he getting this from, man?
No, it's just been ridiculous, and then the mainstream press are fiddle and stuff like this when you're seeing fucking articles about his shoes, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, I seen there was ones about tactics board. Then the Daily Record were putting pieces out with clickbait headlines saying that, you know, well, the players are already, you know, disappointed under Nancy. What it actually was, if you read the Jackie McNamara says, and I quote, "The players will be disappointed." Well,
mate, that's what you call clickbait, though, isn't it? Sheer clickbait, man.
But there's clickbait there. There's just,
and then you've got jobbers like Ryan Stevenson telling Wilfred Nancy what is the bizarre, and you're like, and who have you managed again?
Exactly, mate. What have you ever done? I know it's fucking bonkers, isn't it?
It is. It's mental. It's just, honestly, it's been. I've never actually seen anything like it.
But as I said previously, this gives me like the fuel for the. Not that I needed more fuel to back him, right? But it just gets me. I double down now, and I'm just right behind them. Just with stuff like that, because I just want to see him do well now, just to shove it down their throats. Do you know what I mean?
And how stupid they're going to look, because we are only 3 points behind with a game in hand. It's not as if we're 10, 12, 14 points behind like the COVID season. So, honest to God, just calm down. I was disappointed as anybody, but when we lose to Hearts, because quite frankly, I don't like them. But you have to be realistic. There's a reason. It's the first time in God knows how long we've had to change a manager. Not even mid-season. We've had to change the manager after 9 games. What do you expect? Of course it's going to be hectic.
Right.
Exactly.
No, can I just wrap this up a bit, this one? This segment, basically. Obviously, Nancy then was asked about it, and I think even he was like, why am I being asked this sort of stuff? And he just kind of says, people can have my opinions and all that, but I'm not really. He just kind of brushed it off, because
I think he done well with that, Josh, didn't he? He didn't dive into it. He just brushed it off as he should have done.
He didn't bite, or you know, because realistically, there's nothing to bite to. I mean, it's genuinely, and it's just I find it insane that we're just having a conversation like this about somebody getting a managerial ability today with their shoes, and you know how tactics board. It's just mental, honestly. But Nancy kind of brushed it off and things like that. But I mean, what I would end it off to say to people, back the manager because you've not got any other choice. You haven't, because he's the manager of Celtic, so get behind them or just go and support somebody else.
They need to grow up, man. That's as simple as that.
Well, let's see all the green sambas and selling the Celtic up for Christmas.
But I just couldn't care what he wore. He's a football manager. He's not a fashion expert. He's a football manager. I don't care.
That lad's just jumping in it, really.
He could turn up fucking on the touchline fucking with his fucking shorts and t-shirt on.
End up at the brown brogues.
But even that, I don't fucking well with you, man. It's just mental, man. I mean, it's generally mental, but on to the actual proper stuff and the actual football, because that first 15 minutes, I can't believe we've actually managed to have a discussion about fucking shoes and tactics boards. But Roma, obviously, tomorrow, Europa League. Liam, obviously, with that resulting final, which Martin O'Neill got and that, and the players got, we've put ourselves in a bit better position. If we were to get a result tomorrow night, then we could put ourselves in a good position to maybe qualify for the next stage.
Aye, what we on the now? 7 points?
Aye,
7 points.
Listen, I'll be honest, I don't know much about Roma. I don't watch any Italian football. The last time I seen Roma play was actually against Rangers. And they found that quite easy to play against Rangers. It could have been a cricket score that day, really. I think they actually took the foot off the gas. But right now, I would bite your hand off for a draw. But there's something actually telling me that we'll actually get a positive result. I don't know if that means a win or no, but I just get a good feeling. It could be completely misplaced, the feeling, but I don't know why. I just feel as if we're going to have a good result, and I'm actually looking forward to it. It means Nancy's had a couple of extra days on the training pitch, and hopefully, like, that kind of means that his kind of coaching points and his formation, his tactical advice is actually going to show us on Thursday what he's all about, hopefully.
No, definitely. Alistair, I think a lot of discussions being about tactical. I say a lot of discussion, not as much because everybody's talking about fucking shoes. That's the last time I mention it, honestly. It's just generally annoyed me more than other things. But the one thing football related that has been mentioned is kind of tactical approaches and what he'll do to kind of change it. He did the press conference today. I do agree was quite good. I thought he came across really well, and it was obviously going to be interesting to see what we were able to get from him. And he says, talked about, he said something on the lines of, I believe in my philosophy, but I do understand, there's that understanding there where players maybe need to be a bit more pragmatic, so they are sometimes. What would you think? Because it'll be interesting, definitely, when the teams come out to see how he set up. How do you think he will get a set up?
I kind of hope he's learned more about the players, and I think it's just been. I think he'll probably play the same formation, but I hope there's a wee bit of organisation being worked on when we lose the ball, especially because if you play open, expansive in Europe, we tend to know what happens, because Celtic more than any other club seem to be picked off more than anybody else. So I hope he's kind of worked on when we lose the ball, Josh, and we can run back into position. But I'm not expecting too much different, to be honest. I think we just need to hope we got a better version of it.
Aye. No, because Liam, I thought going forward, on Sunday, especially in the first half, I think the second half was a bit all over the place, which I can understand to an extent, because, like, as I said, they've only been with each other 2 or 3 days. But I thought going forward, we did look, dangerous and we could maybe do something. At the end of the day, it's not Wilfred Nancy's fault that we've not got the attack firepower to finish off attacks. So that there is signs that it could really work. Obviously, there's a big difference between Hearts and Roma, but there is signs there could be something there.
The first half against Hearts, there definitely was good passages of play. We were doing things quickly. I think it's one of those cliches. It was a game of two halves because the second half, Hearts came into it a wee bit because they had their goal. Obviously, they scored in the 60-odd minute. They started to gain a bit more possession, and that's when we were shit, really. So it was out of possession. So I kind of tend to agree with Alistair about it's what we kind of do off the ball that I'm a wee bit more worried about. So hopefully, with that extra training sessions, the players are a wee bit more familiar with what he's asking them to do. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably my only worry. And obviously, as you said, it's not his fault that strikers can't score goals that's laid on a plate for them. So a manager and a coach can only do so much. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we can take our chances. But I reckon he's going to go with the 3-4-3 or the 3-4-2-1, whatever he was playing. I reckon he'll stick with that. And I don't blame him. If that's his style, then it needs to come at one point.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I was just going to say it back up Liam a bit there, because if the players come in, if he changes the formation, the players are going to say even he doesn't believe in the formation. So I think he'll stick with it. Mm-hmm. And so he should, because at the end of the day, that's why we brought him in. We brought him in for a more attacking philosophy, and he's not going to dish it off after one game, and nor should he.
No, as I think it's, I kind of think it's obsolete, the whole tactical discussion, because I look at it and go like that. Well, what's the point in bringing in a manager in if you're just not wanting to play the style? And if we're saying, we'll not get the players or whatever, but he's going to have to play the style at some point. And the only way he's going to learn properly is if he plays that style in the games before January, because then he can go, right, X is not good enough, Y is not good enough, he's not good enough, and he's not good enough, and X. If he plays that formation that maybe they're more used to, he's not going to learn anything. And then it'll be after January, he'll start playing it, and they think, oh shit.
There's no continuity. Exactly. I totally agree. Actually, the continuity from it is he'll be looking at the long-term goal. He's not just looking at the short-term fix. That's what Martin O'Neill was for.
And I think that's what some of your fans are looking at. I think they're looking at it. Yeah. This isn't going to be a short-term fix. Mm-hmm. This isn't Martin O'Neill coming in for. Now, Martin O'Neill done a fantastic job, but this isn't Martin O'Neill coming in for 5 or 6 games and trying to steady the ship. We're looking for a manager to kind of steer a new era at Celtic. So it's not going to be a short-term fix, and that's what I think some of our fans are going to need to get used to, that there is probably going to be bumps in the road.
So they're going to need to deal with it. So it's up to them how they're going to deal with it, because he's not going to get sacked after a few games. I don't care what happens. They're just going to need to deal with it, and I don't blame him coming in. You imagine he came in and just stuck with the whole Martin O'Neill system, right? And then we still drop points or we still lose to Hearts. He's on a hiding to nothing. They'll blame him for not being his own man, or that sort of thing. He was in a lose-lose, effectively, unless he won. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't blame him at all. It's hats off to him. He's at least had the boss to do it.
The only thing I would say, Josh, is see all these people that say, and nobody loves Martin O'Neill more than me. It's a hindsight polish. We would have won this under Martin O'Neill. They need to know that, because I don't know if you agree with us. Some of the results were good under Martin O'Neill. The performances were terrible.
Aye. And what I would say that as well, is Martin O'Neill was never going to be a long-term manager.
No, should have been.
Aye, and as much as that might be difficult for some people to hear, that's just the fact. Wilfred Nancy has been brought in with the intention of being our next long-term manager. So I would rather he plays his style, because that's what he brings as a manager. Because he'll be the first manager. If he'll be the manager will be the person who, if it doesn't go right, he'll be the first person to get criticised, which I find ridiculous, to be honest. I'm sick of managers constantly getting criticised while the players got away scot-free. To be honest with you as well, that's another thing. And so I would rather he plays his style, because then he's the one that's going to have to stick by that if he starts getting maybe a few bad results. So it's his style. And that's what he brings as a manager. No, what is the point in bringing a manager and go, oh, we'll play how Martin O'Neill played? You can tweak the style and that's fine. But you can't just, it's his style. And the players, I think, what I've seen, have been quite complimentary. Tierney came out and said after the game, I quite like playing a back three, played it for Arsenal, played it for Scotland, as well. So he's played it. Trusty was quite complimentary as well. So there's been a lot of players that have come out being complimentary. So I think it could work. There's maybe bits I would maybe change, but I'm going to make wholesale changes. You can't do that.
And we've not got the squad to do it. In case anybody's noticed.
It's just that it's.
I had somebody saying after Sunday, we should have played Dane Murray, and I turned to the guy. I said, "Do you not remember the game at Tynecastle? No."
Poor laddie caused us 3 goals, more or less, didn't
he? But Liam, I mean, Roma, they're having a decent season, I think, under Gasparini, who I think is a good coach. I think he's a good coach. Also, we had experience with him when he was Atalanta coach last season when we managed to
I was going to ask you that there, actually.
He was Atalanta coach. Also, we managed to get a draw earlier under Rodgers.
I think we'd all take a draw.
No, I think I would take a draw as well. I think, as you mentioned that game at Ibrox, I think they played with a slippers on, to be honest with you. Ibrox, I don't think they were up against too much. But they looked at, a good solid side, man, it's going to be a difficult task, no matter who the manager is.
I always feel the Italian teams are defensively solid, aren't they? I've always had that over the years. You've always had your Maldinis and all those types. I don't think
they're quite at that level, but I got
they're solid.
No, nowhere near that level, God. I was just meaning in terms of the Italians, they're just known for their defensive capabilities, aren't they? So that's the tricky thing, because we can't score at the best of times. So if they've got a good defence, I mean, what the hell's going to happen? But God knows. I mean, if Yang has a game of his life and Johnny Kenny's got his...
I hope he puts him back in the left.
Aye, he needs to, mate.
I always think Yang's better than the left. So
but then the other problem comes, but who's going to then play on the right? Because I don't think Tenecti's even worth putting on the right. I think he needs to be benched, in my opinion.
I think you need to play Maeda in the right.
But I would even say Maeda deserves to be benched as well. I just think we're in that situation where it's dire, to be honest. Tenecti was terrible at the weekend. Maeda was terrible at the weekend. Yang, I thought he was the best out of the extremely bad bunch. He at least tried to. So I
thought Kieran Tierney was the best player on the pitch.
I think the only stick on in that front three is Yang. The rest of them, you could make cases.
You could make cases, but what I would say, boys, is you can't drop them all because of lack of squad depth, and that's
the issue we've got.
That's the major issue we've got. I think now is there's no squad depth. Who's to blame for that? But anyway, but I mean, I think we could get a result. I think it's just going to be extremely difficult. As I says, Roma did actually get beat off at the weekend against Cagliari, and they're sitting 4th in the Italian league, but it's 4th and it's quite tight. I think there's 2 or 3 points in it between them and first.
Do you know what I want tomorrow night, boys? I want it sounds terrible. I know it's a cliche. I want a performance to come out and say, at least we're starting to see something. What will be
That'll not be good enough for the folk that just want results, Alistair, innit? It's one of those things, innit? Can't win, man.
I think, to be honest, Liam, you're kind of people are going to moan for the sake of moaning,
Aye, 100%.
especially in 1-4-2.
I don't really want to alarm you, but this is some of the players we're up against tomorrow. They've got even Ndika, who was a centre half in the Europa League final for Frankfurt when they beat Rangers and saved football.
Thank you.
Safe football.
Then they've got Manu Kone, who's a pretty decent player. They got him for Borussia Mönchengladbach this summer. They've got Kostas Tsimikas, who plays.
Is that? Aye, that's right. Liverpool.
Josh, have they still got Dybala?
Still got Dybala. I was going to go into him. Still got Leon Bailey as well, which gives me the fear because he's rapid and.
He's getting the final ball. Trust me.
But you've got Yamada. He's fast.
But he doesn't get played. That's they've still got Steven El Shaarawy. That's a fucking throwback. That. Evan Fergus, weird enough, who's getting sent back.
He's injured.
No, he came on at the weekend, so he must be back. So it's gonna be a fucking old time if we get a result tomorrow night because there's some absolute big hitters in that squad, man. Give me the fear. Probably Dybala being the main one, to be honest. But I mean, you can never know.
That's when we tend to. I mean, let's be honest. We thought we were out anyway after before the final game. Let's not rewrite history.
It might suit us being underdogs. It might suit us this sort of mentality, this team, because when we're meant to win, it showed you against Hearts that the fucking bottle crash. Know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it's you just know it. It's either going to be an absolute hammer, right, or it's going to be a 2-1 win. Get in off somebody's arse. There's no going to be an in between. Or we're going to play really well and lose a fluky goal that we usually lose in Europe. So that's the probably three options we've got here. Liam, in terms of the team, would you change anything from the weekend, or would you keep it the same? Obviously, there's players that we just discussed it. Maybe.
In terms of formation, I think he needs to go with what he thinks. So he needs to go with his 3-4-2-1 or his 3-4-3. Personnel-wise, though, that's the tricky thing because Yang is better on the left, but then who do you put on the right? Do you stick with McCown on the right? Because a wing back, you need to be fast. McCown's not get the pace. Nygren, he's certainly not get the pace. I'm a bit confused at what he would do there unless he goes with Tenekte again on the left and puts Yang on the right, or he puts Tenekte on the right. I really don't know what he's going to do, but he's going to need to stick with his formation because he's going to need to die on his sword. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Who would you go with up front in terms of striker?
Oh, jeez. Right. Ian Acho's back, but you can't just stick him on straight away. I don't think anyway. He didn't even get any minutes the last game, did he?
No, he never got on.
Listen, Daizen Maeda doesn't deserve. I'm not saying Johnny Kenny does. Johnny Kenny's got a bit of pace as well. I would maybe even go with Johnny Kenny, by the way. And if you need be, you'd maybe put Daizen on the right just for the pace and just to help whoever's doing that right flank. Because that might be a good idea, actually. But I don't know.
Alistair, what would you do?
I would kind of play Donovan. I'd be a wee bit more canny and doing the right. And I would play guys on the right bit and play Donovan and Tierney in a back and his wing backs and hit them up and down. But I don't know.
I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm going to be honest with you. This Tierney win back thing, Tierney's not got the legs to play full back anymore. I think if you're going to be the best at a Kieran Tierney, you play him centre half.
Mhm.
I think the
Keeper
whole Kieran,
kind of thing.
I think all the whole Kieran Tierney's fullback, it's done now. I don't. He's just flat to deceive there. Centre half in the back three. He said it himself that he could do a good job there. Donovan, I don't know. I don't know. I think in terms of it depends, but if you're putting him at wing back, it's a lot to ask of somebody really young. You need to get forward, but you also need to make sure you're back. It's
It's the toughest position on the pitch.
it is.
It's tiring position as well.
So that's when I would maybe question if Donovan would come in. I don't know, obviously, who would kind of come in there.
Donovan's
get the Bricky
better
in.
than the other option, by the way. I'll tell
I
you
don't. I
that.
see in this formation. I don't think you play an out and out right back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's how it works. I think that's where the width is coming from. So you kind of pack the midfield, and that's where I maybe get some questions about the formation in Scotland. Is you're packing the midfield, but that's what everybody else is. So
It wouldn't surprise me if he plays a Bernardo and Engels.
Engels has to play. Engels will be playing.
To get a bit of grip, because
Engels' best performances come in Europe.
Aye, and not only that, you need a number. You need an out and out number 6.
Could you put Arne Engels at right back?
I mean, by the way, that could be a
in the
shout.
middle.
See, because some of the balls that he plays in, and all, see those balls that he likes to kind of swing in, that could actually work for that position.
It's no. I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to Celtic Radio in the week, and they were talking about it, how he can play right back. He's played no many career, but he
played
has.
there for his old team, didn't he?
Aye. So that could be an option. I think he was kind of put it right back against Hearts, so who knows? But it's just this kind of complex formation with no many as I've seen before, really. So I guess we'll see when it comes in the morning. The last time we're going to go into score predictions, this should be a laugh because.
Well, Josh, you actually get it right the last time. It was just
that's happened twice. That's happened twice this season when I've got it right. It's the Ranks team that's won the game. So, I can't even remember who went first.
You went first.
I think it's Alistair's turn this time.
Right, Alistair, you go first.
I'm gonna surprise you. 2-1 Celtic.
Liam.
2-0 Celtic.
And as usual,
you comes 4-0 Roma, you know you want to say.
Here comes the negative, Nancy. 1 each.
I take any for you.
Then you've got my actual head prediction, which I will not share because it could be very embarrassing. But if you're going with my heart, which I will, 1 each. So
I'd take any for you then.
Aye, absolutely.
I'd take a draw now. Because I think
let's be honest, guys. We get 4 points out of the next 3 games. We're going to get in a limb here. We're through.
Especially with that Utrecht game, kind of in the final game, you're kind of wanting to be a better chance there. So if you can get a point, the more
masterclass.
Don't.
Oh Jesus Christ!
But if we can get a point there, then hopefully we can kind of get a bit closer to the kind of knockout stages. Any's got any final thoughts just before I wrap it up? Alistair?
No, only go, Liam, if you've got enough.
No, listen, just hopefully plead with people just to get behind Nancy. Because he deserves it.
He's leaving earlier, no.
He deserves a bit of leeway, regardless what you think the result should have been at the weekend. He deserves a wee bit of time, just like anybody else. He's come in halfway through a season. And he's come into the Goldfish Bowl of Glasgow, so it's no an easy place to come. So I respect him for that, and listen, I just hope a good performance on Thursday, and then that takes us into the final on Sunday.
But no, I'll leave it on that then. I'll wrap up there for the Celtic Roma preview. but as usual, we'll be back with post-match reaction probably on Friday, because time we get in on Thursday, it's too hard to actually sort out. But on Friday we'll be back with post-match reaction, hopefully discussing a good result in Europe for Celtic. But until next time, we'll speak to you later, and hail.
Hail.